Welcome to Pleasure Playbook, the podcast. I'm Jenna Miller.
And I'm Steph Morris. We are two sex and intimacy coaches coming together to talk to you about all things love, sex, and relationships with a she comes first attitude.
Each episode combines empowerment and education from a trauma-informed perspective, offering answers to your burning questions in an entertaining and enlightening way.
Join us each week for a tantalizing mix of sexy insights and empowering knowledge on how to live a spicier and more delicious life.
So let's dive into this week's Pleasure Playbook. Welcome back to Pleasure Playbook. I hope you have your pearls ready, your gown, your gloves, your high heels, because today, maybe we are doing Pleasure and Intimacy Awards of 2024.
Yeah, we are. It's time for the awards.
I love a good award ceremony, and we're just joking. You don't have to obviously be wearing anything different for this episode, obviously.
Maybe take your clothes off.
Yeah,
if you want.
For sure. That's an invitation you can try on. But today, we're going to go over our Pleasure and Intimacy Awards of 2024. What we've loved, what we would definitely recommend or shout out, what some of our favorite sex toys, positions, topics, tools, moments, dates, all of the good things to share with you that may inspire you for you to try on and give a whirl, or maybe you to reflect on what worked and what didn't in your own sex and intimacy life this year, and what you want to carry into the next year, and what maybe you want to leave behind in 2024.
Let's do it.
Okay,
let's reflect and enjoy and get juicy.
So shall we jump right in?
Let's dive deep like we like to.
Deep in the deep end with our favorite sex position of the year. Steph, you want to kick us off with yours favorite sex position of the year? If you had to give an intimacy award to blank position, what's it going to be?
Favorite sex position of the year was the laying down doggy position, the lazy doggy, laying on my stomach flat, ass in the air, hips lifted, getting it from behind whilst there's whispering, feeling the weight of the man's body pressed up against me, whispering in the ear, hand rubbing around on the clit. 10 out of 10 for me.
I love it. I love it. I am right there with you in my imagination.
It's just like a moment from an experience that it's ingrained into my brain. I'm like, yeah, pretty juicy. I'm into it.
That's how you know it was a winner of the year.
Yeah, for sure. What about you?
Amazing. Okay, I know this feels a little bit boring perhaps, or also maybe feels too similar to yours, but I have to say every time I did doggy in 2024, I was like, fuck, why am I not doing this position more? It is so good. For me, it just works all the right places. I love it. So I'd have to say getting my hips grabbed and getting some doggy from behind is my award for 2024.
I love that. So is that what you love about it? Is the grabbing and the from behind?
Yeah, and I also love spanking. So I think it's just both of those things combined. Like I really love to be gripped, and I also really love spanking. So those two things just make it the perfect position.
I feel you.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good spanking.
And it feels like really it just is right for me. So that was my highlight.
Beautiful.
For sure.
Love it. Favorite sex toy?
Okay, so this year I bought for under my bed one of those cross restraints. So it's like a tool that goes underneath the mattress. And then there's on this particular one, I think it's from the company called Ouch, which I can figure out for sure and link in the show notes. But it has hand restraints at the top, and then it has an option for hand restraints in the middle, and then feet restraints at the bottom. I know it's not a traditional toy, but it's a tool, and it's just so much fun.
Yeah, I love that.
Have you used something like that?
Yeah, my last Pleasure Dom play partner brought that around and set it up on my bed.
And
and it
it's so
works.
easy to transform a regular bed into then something that is a bit more fun and sex related. A lot of people think they have to have like a dungeon or some kind of
Yeah.
like spanking bench or something special, but you can really just get those beautiful strengths that go underneath your mattress. The weight of your body on top of the mattress is going to keep it in place, and they're a lot of fun. Don't underestimate how many things you can do with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that, and I actually was thinking of getting one for my own bed, and then I thought, I'm gonna wait for a partner because it might be a little bit intimidating if someone comes around and there's like it's just permanently on my bed. Like, little bit much. We'll tone it down. We'll wait for someone to get my own. But similarly, I'll give two. One from me on that same thread has been restraints. I've really been enjoying exploring that more this year. I love to be restrained. Oh, so good. Like bondage tape, handcuffs, the same kind of thing underneath the bed. Love that. I'm going to go with the classic though. Most of my, not true, but a lot of my exploration has been by myself this year. Sacred Squirter, glass dildo, as we know, is the classic. Cervix Serpent has always been my number one and the one I've used the most. More recently, we've been back to the G spot. I've been enjoying more G spot pleasure with the Sacred Squirter, and I haven't been doing as much cervical pleasure and cervical work. Also, I will say I have been using a vibrator more this year and having a little bit more of like a quick snack type orgasms and pleasure sometimes when I'm feeling like really horny. Not my favorite, as we know. I am not really a vibrator kind of girl, but I have been playing with that a little bit this year for fun. And I have a wee vibe is one of my favorite ones. Purple, like little goes internal and external. That's a good one for a self pleasure, a solo play, also with a partner as well.
Yeah, so good. I mean, I think I need an honorable mention of a vibe too because they're just such a good tool to have in your pleasure toolkit. Have shared this one so many times, but the Iroha is, I think, the brand name. The Tory vibrator that looks like a little leaf is incredible. And I get it from the Lake Shop that's in Montreal. They have an online website and they call all of their vibes their body exploration tools. And it's just such a good, it is such a good vibe. It fits perfectly like on the curvature of my body. So being able to pop that in while you're in another sex position or just in solo play, it is so good. So we'll have to
Mm.
link that one too.
Love it. That one I've heard you mention it before, and I thought I need to try it. And I
That's the Steph.
say
Yeah, you need
I
it.
need to try it next time I get Vibe. I'll get that one.
Yeah. And it's such a delicious medical grade silicone. Like it's so soft and squishy.
That's good.
So
Love
good.
it. Alrighty, favorite lube.
Favorite lube, also have shared a lot. It's tried and true, but I'll have a little honorable mention of a product that's not quite lube, but it's cool. So my favorite lube is Subtle, Sutil, and it is a Canadian brand. It is so good. Specifically their Luxe formula. They have a few new formulas now. They have a horny goat weed formula and an anal formula. The Luxe formula is my favorite. So nice, so good on the body, and really good if you have a sensitive puss. Now, I want to mention also, this isn't a lube, but it's a clit arousal serum.
I was gonna say we have to talk about that.
Okay, you wanna lead?
No, 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 you go. You go.
Yeah. So this year I met the founder of Epiphany, Kelly Pigeon, and she has this really cool product called the Clit Arousal Serum, and she's founded this company called Epiphany. And this is like a little power jet pack. You just take a little pea-sized amount and you pop it onto your clitoris, and it gives the nicest sensation. Now, it's not lube, so you're not getting lubrication from this, but your own body can wake up to its own natural juices with this, and it just creates like this euphoric feeling in your pussy. I would
Mm.
love to hear, Steph, what you think and how you describe
Yeah.
it, but it is, if you have trouble dropping into your puss, this is such a good tool.
So good. That was going to be one that I mentioned because I genuinely was a little bit skeptical at first when I heard about this. And once I received the tube, which is actually almost empty, I wish it was 3 times the size because I really genuinely love this product. It just feels so good. You feel this aliveness and this tingling sensation. It really does enhance the pleasure. And I was very pleasantly surprised by the experience, and I'm hooked. And it's definitely one that for self pleasure, I'm just loving, because honestly love using my fingers. That is just genuinely one of my favorite ways to self pleasure. And this is the perfect pairing with that to just make it even juicier. So, yeah, I definitely recommend trying it out. It is a small tube, but you don't need much. And it really is unlike a lube or an oil. It just, yeah, it feels like an enhancement, truly created some magic there with that
Yeah,
product.
it is so, so good. If you do get it and you do try it, I just wanna let you know that it doesn't taste very good. So, you can use it in your own self-pleasure or in penetrative sex or anything that's not oral, but it is not a product that tastes very good. So, if you're going in with oral, I would probably skip this product.
Beautiful. My other favorite lube for partner play or with self is my oils, the Province Apothecary. The Lover's Oil I use all the time for breast massage and rubbing on my skin, or even a massage like with a partner. I will use that Lover's Oil because it has a rose smell and it's so delicious. And then for the puss, I'll use the sex oil, which has no essential oils, no scent or anything. But it's just a really beautiful, I think it's a coconut oil
Mhm.
base, but I just love the feeling of a silky oil. I've always been an oil gal, always. It's just my absolute favorite. Yeah, I'm not really a lube kind of gal. I'm much more of an oil. Or the Woo More Play coconut oil is really juicy and delicious as well.
Yeah, I do really like the Province Apothecary lovers or n I like the lover's oil as a body oil.
Yeah.
Sometimes the fragrance is a little bit like, depending on my nose, I'm sometimes, like, a little bit like, "Oh, that's a lot."
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, I don't know, to me, sometimes I'm, like, hit and miss with essential oils, like, sometimes they land I think it depends on where I'm at in my cycle. Sometimes
Mm,
I'm really attracted to them, and I, like, love the smell of it, and I love that woodsy vibe that it has,
yeah.
and then other times, I think when I'm too sensitive or, like, just close to the bleed, kind of overstimulated, I find it to be a bit much, but I do love the sensation of the sex oil, like,
Mm.
on my lips.
Love it.
My bottom lips.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Not the mouth lips. Different lips we're talking about. It feels just so silky smooth and delicious.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
What I thought was so cool too is when we were at the retreat last year is I saw that bottle a few times, and there were people from all over the world there, and that's a Canadian brand, and it was really cool to see
Oh,
Provence oils making their way.
love that.
Yeah.
Yay to the Canadian brands. We love
Yeah.
it. All
Okay,
right.
let's head into favorite blowjob position of the year.
Mm. You want to go first?
No, you go.
Okay. Happily, we'll go. My favorite blowjob position is being on my knees in some form. I love either a man. Okay, favorite thing is when I'm making out with a guy and then he puts his hand on my neck and tells me, get on your knees. And I will communicate this to a man, like, this is my favorite thing ever, to feel that power dynamic, like that dominance. And it's consensual, obviously, because I'm like, tell me, get on my knees. And they're standing up and I'm just like on my knees and they're just in their pleasure. That feels so good to me. That's so sexy. I don't usually do a full blowjob in that way though, because I find that the partners I've been with typically will prefer, if I'm going for the full thing, they like to have a little bit more comfort. But I find that is a really hot way in foreplay to kind of like get juiced up. The second part to that, for like a full worship blowjob, is me on my knees, classic, and the guy either sitting on the edge of the bed or sitting on a sofa. They could be upright or they could even be like lying down on the bed, but they're over the edge so that I have good access to be on my knees. I just find that the position for me, I can get the whole body into it. I'm comfortable. I feel that submission and it feels like the power dynamic that I like to experience when I'm giving a blowjob. And also, it's just like great access to be on the knees and then have a good reach, like up on their chest or like on their legs. It just works for me. It's what turns me on the most. I think we've talked about this before, but I'm just not a fan of blowjobs where the guy is like lying flat on his back on the bed and I'm like trying to get into that position. Not my favorite. I actually get a little bit turned off depending on the person, but my experiences so far have been like, it's just not a turn on for me. I'm having to really try to get into it versus the other positions. It's just like full yes in the body.
Yeah. Steph and I, a little while back, were talking about blowjob positions, and we were laughing at like when you're trying to hunch over on the bed, like if your partner's laying down on flat on their back, and like you got to kind of get into this like gremlin like posture to give a blowjob, use your hands, which just that's why I'm giggling over here. But yeah, it's definitely not my favorite, but I wouldn't say as far as it turns me off, but I do find it can put strain on my body, like my neck or my thighs or my hip flexors or knees rather, and that takes me out of the pleasure of it all. So I would have to agree with you. I think my favorite position is to be on a couch or a sofa, or it's like a couch or a chair, and be on my knees kneeling at my partner and their body like brought to the edge of that chair. The height difference between me and my current partner is a little bit tricky to just do from my knees with him standing. I've got to work around that a little bit, but yeah, a little aid under the knees, like a cushion or a pillow under, and then getting to kneel at the couch is my fave
Love
right
that.
now. My fave of 2024.
Favorite 2024. Yeah. Always flowing and changing and evolving.
Yes. Hey ladies, what if I told you you could take your pleasure game to a whole new level whilst giving your man a blowjob? We're inviting you to join our exclusive workshop, Sacred Praise, the art of pleasure worship, where you'll unlock the art of giving a really good, juicy blowjob.
In this intimate, women only workshop, we will explore the physical and energetic practices of cock worship, focusing on connection, sensual mastery, and on heightening your pleasure. We'll dive deep into guided techniques, mindset shifts, and even the sacred art of blowjobs, transforming it from a simple act into a ritual of devotion and intimacy.
This is all about owning your sensual power, embracing your role as a pleasure priestess, and having fun in the process. Join us for this transformative experience and unlock the kind of intimacy that deepens connection and makes both of you feel incredible.
Save your spot for the workshop now by heading to the show notes to get all of the details, or send us a DM with the word praise at our Instagram, pleasure_playbook.
Okay, so next award. What was a surprising or powerful moment for you in your own intimacy journey this year?
I think surprising for me was experiencing the most sexual chemistry that I've had with a person and noticing my body's capacity for pleasure, even with a new dynamic and a new person, when the elements are there of trust, safety, emotional intimacy, good communication, and just connecting with a person. It really surprised me what my body was capable of without knowing this person very well, and that just got me excited of, wow, I can't wait to be in a relationship again with somebody where all of those elements exist, and continuing to deepen and explore and to see what else is my body capable of, and like how deep can I go, how much pleasure can I explore. So yeah, for me, that would definitely be it. And that was the time where I had 5 orgasms in one night from a brand new partner, which was just, I mean, that's going to be a top experience of the lifetime, I'm sure. It was very unexpected and very surprising. But yeah, it was fucking delicious.
So good. Just getting aroused thinking about that for you.
I
I'm
know.
so happy that was part of your year. Oh, okay. I think for me, a surprising or powerful moment in my intimacy journey this past year has been that I've been experiencing more spontaneous arousal. I'm typically a responsive arousal type of person, and based on probably a number of things, I have been more in a responsive desire state for the last few years, I would say, in my life. But in the last year, I'm feeling more of that spontaneousness pop up where you're like, oh, yeah, I'm horny. I got to follow this thread, or I want to see this through, or I want to have sex. And without having an external cue to that has been fun to play with. So I think that's been the
Mm.
surprising piece of this past year.
I think that's really cool and great to know that we're going to ebb and flow with these things, and you can have it one dominant style of arousal. And also, there are going to be so many elements that come into play as to the state that you operate more in. I think that openness to other ways of being is really cool to see. The body
Yeah.
is going to ebb and flow, and then following that is exciting.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was just getting older, but I think I don't know if you feel this, but I mean the 30s feel so much different in terms of sex than the 20s did. And maybe that's just coming into confidence or doing this work or partners or whatever it is. I'm sure it's a combination of all those things, but really enjoying the deliciousness of this new decade with confidence has been
Yeah.
so cool.
I agree. To me, in my 20s, sex wasn't really a priority for me. It wasn't something I was talking about. It wasn't something I was doing all that often. I don't really have any particularly memorable sexual experiences. Bearing in mind, I was in relationships my entire 20s. Nothing really stands out to me as being amazing. I don't, I already have so many experiences from this last year that are ingrained into me of amazing sexual experiences. I don't have that from my 20s. And that to me is quite surprising and interesting. And I wonder how many people live that way. And now sex is a huge part of my life. It's obviously the foundation of my work. But personally, I think about sex a lot. I talk about sex a lot. I'm a very sexual and turned on person. And with that, there is a lot of confidence and empowerment that I have around my sexuality and my body and pleasure. And that feels really freaking good. So for me, I agree, 30s so far have been very juicy. And I'm excited to see where this sexual journey will take me. I think there's so much to explore. And for me, curiosity has been a big thing. I love growing and exploring and healing and discovering. And so, final piece of surprising or powerful moments for me this year has been spontaneity, which I am finding myself being more open to spontaneous mini adventures in life in my day to day that I never used to be open to. I used to be such a planning person and everything had to be in the calendar, which is true. Everything still has to be in my calendar, but also sometimes I'm having a day or an evening where I feel like I'm just really open to go with the flow because I'm just in trust and I surrender to whatever is meant to be. And I really believe that that in large has come down to the work I've done sexually of releasing shame and finding trust within my body and finding confidence with myself that and spontaneity in sex that has allowed me to bring that into other areas of life. And that's really juicy and really fun. And one example of this is on Saturday night, I had plans with friends and then ended up having like a really spontaneous evening where I actually went on a date before meeting my friends and then ended up going to this party with this guy that I went on a date with. And it was just like a super fun night that my friends were open and in a spontaneous mood, and I was open and in a spontaneous mood, and ended up having such a fun time that the old me would never have even been open to any of that because it wasn't planned out minute by minute. So I think that's growth for me. And yeah, it's just exciting and fun to see what else am I open to exploring. And let's have fun with it.
Hmm. Yeah, it's fun to sink into these adulty adult years and then get more choice and feel like you have the permission slip to explore more of your own timelines, your own activities, like make more choice. Yeah, just it feels so equally youthful and cheeky to be able to like stay up all night and do whatever you want. And then
Yeah.
also, um, yeah, it feels like this reclaiming of maybe parts that you perhaps wanted as a teenager or young adult that you weren't allowed to do or couldn't have for certain context, and now just getting to do a full fuck, I'm doing me
Yeah.
situation.
It's interesting because my 20s I was so serious. Like
Mhm.
looking back, I was very controlled, very serious about my sleep, about, for the most part, in the last few years of my 20s anyway, not really drinking, just so many aspects of life I was trying to be in control of. I really did not like staying up late. I would do occasionally, but I just took everything so serious and then made such meaning of it. Like if I stay up late, that means that I'm fucked and it's going to ruin my business. I would be so like negative in the association. And now I'm like, I get to have fun. And me staying up till 7 a.m. on a Saturday night does not happen often, but I had so much fun and feel so full from that fun experience on the weekend. I'm like, it doesn't mean anything. And it just, I was reflecting as I was making my breakfast earlier, like my 20s were so serious and
Mhm.
so structured. And I think there's maybe a lack of safety that I had in my life and that desire for control that I wasn't able to just lean back and surrender to the flow of life. And now I can and get to be like, 30s are not so serious. We get to embrace that playfulness and silliness and spontaneity. So,
So
yeah,
good.
so
Yeah.
good. Right.
Amazing. Okay. What was your go-to song for setting the mood in 2024?
Go to song. This has been my go to song actually since about 2023. It is the song Continuum. We'll link it. That's all I can say. It gets me juiced up for self pleasure. It's a great song to move to, and I get into my body. It's in my sex playlists. It's just a really sensual, sexy, and hot song. I have actually, this has probably been my since 2022 because this song I have done embodiment practices at my retreats too as well. So there's just a lot of embodied good positive memories with this song of feeling really sexual. So that's mine.
Mm,
What about you?
I love that. I didn't know that song before we talked about it today, so I'm excited to add that one and move my own body to it. Okay, my I can't just say one song. I feel like for me, music, I channel different energies through different songs, so or different music. So sometimes I'm like in a if I want to be like sensual and romantic and connected and like make love, like I've got the certain artists and songs that I really love for that, like singer-songwriters and slower, like more sensual, more love
Mm,
focused music. And then I have more of like the songs that are playful and horny and like kind of rougher around the edges. So for me, I cannot talk about music without talking about Sabrina Carpenter.
cool.
But I would say Juno and Bedchem from Sabrina Carpenter were just two really fun, playful, like bring up that juicy, sexual, horny energy in me. So
Mm,
I really loved playing those. But then there was also this song by Mackenzie McKay, I think. Yeah, I think his name is Mackenzie McKay, which is Sweet Moment. And I get kind of hyper fixated on a song every now and then. And Sweet Moment talks about like going down on a girl and like letting her legs shake. And for me, something about the lyrics of that song, every time I'm just like, mm,
mm.
I'm right there. Like, I want to fuck. So I think that that song also would have had to be top for this year.
I need to go listen to those. Don't know. I don't know any of them. I don't even know the Sabrina Carpenter ones, which is probably a sin to admit. It's a
Fair.
crime.
You've probably heard them just from scrolling online, but
Yeah.
mm.
All right. What is your favorite intimate date night activity?
Something that I love because I'm a words of affirmation type of girl is playing connection card games.
Mm.
Like, to me, intimacy is really having great conversation, like lighting the candles, having a drink, non-alcoholic for myself, but like having a beverage and sitting and getting cozy and touching each other's bodies and snuggling under a blanket and just like having really beautiful heart to hearts. That feels like a very intimate date night activity for me. So that would be my pick. Yep.
I honestly can't wait to do that with someone. I really miss deep, intimate conversations because that is my juice. That is totally my thing. And I find it such a turn on. And it's just so nice to feel really deeply connected with somebody through those words. And I'm also such a positive words of affirmation kind of gal. Yeah, I was telling my best friend the other day, we were talking about love languages, and I said mine was words of affirmation, and she was like, I didn't know that. And I was like, what? Anyway, and now she's laying it on. So we love that.
Good. Turn up the
We
volume.
give it to me. And I make, whenever I meet someone, especially in a dating capacity or like a sexual capacity, I make it very clear very early on. I'm like, I need to hear the words. Anyway, I'm getting too excited now. For me, I love eye gazing. That is one of my number ones. Obviously, there's so many incredible intimate practices that I love, but this one is just such an easy, free, connective one to get you warmed up, to get you in the body, and to just break any barriers of disconnection or discomfort or awkwardness of just really seeing each other. There's something so powerful in being seen, allowing yourself to be seen, and then really seeing another person and giving your full presence in that moment without words, without language, without any sound, and just being there. Oh, it really turns me on and gets me feeling super connected with a person. And that's such a great place to go into sex and intimacy from.
Yeah, that's so juicy. Eye gazing is so vulnerable to me, but it is such a fast track into a deeper connection with someone, and it is such a beautiful practice. So I
Mm.
love this conversation because it's gonna remind me to go into that more myself.
Get into that eye gazing. You've done way crazier, more wild, intimate things than that.
Yeah. Okay, one other thing I wanted to share while we're on this topic of intimate date night is I realized this past year that for me, sex after dinner is just a no. I don't know whether it's age or just the belly, but I do not, and I mean belly is like full. I don't mean belly as in weight or the look of it, but I mean, I just feel like it's uncomfortable to have sex after like a really decadent, gorgeous dinner out. So I decided I will do sex before dinner. And I think that that is the life hack of all life hacks is
Yep.
to have the intimacy, make out, or even just get, yeah, like the sexy juices flowing if you do want to have sex that night. And perhaps try having it before you have your dinner because we get sleepy, we eat
Mm.
too much, we're too full, maybe get a headache from a little too much wine, whatever it is, right? It's like then you're not in the mood anymore. I just think fucking earlier in the day is such a good idea.
I really love that. And I think going on a date from that place of, you've already got intimate, you've had the pleasure, you're juiced up, the sexual energy is flowing. What an incredible place to be going out on a date from. And maybe you get home and you're in the mood and you want a little bit more. Amazing.
Mhm.
Or maybe you've done it for the night and it's out of the way and you're not having to worry about drinking too much or eating too much. Because for me, I really don't like drunk sex. I used to only ever have drunk sex in my late teens, early 20s, before I guess even in some of the relationship I was a big fan of drunk sex. But now, being so confident in myself and connected with myself sexually, not a turn on for me. I don't like it at all. I would way rather have deeply present and intimate and hot sober sex. So I don't want to, if I'm going out for a date, I'll probably have had like a drink or two and not really a vibe for me. So
Mhm.
I love this idea. Get it
Yes.
in before.
And then you're just, like, so much more connected too. It's like aftercare then to go to dinner together and
Yeah,
connect and to, like, debrief, and you're just more present with one another, you know? So I think it is such a fun way of going about date night.
love it.
Okay, wanna kick us off with the last 2? So we have
Favorite scent
Mhm.
that puts you in a sensual mood.
Yes, favorite scent that puts me in a sensual mood. For me, sandalwood and vanilla are my 2, like, horny activators, so I love the smell of sandalwood, and I love it paired with a little tonka bean or a little vanilla or a little something that has that sweet scent.
Mm. For me, it's sandalwood and rose,
Mm,
of
sexy.
course.
So
Yeah.
that's why you love lover's oil.
That's why I love is oil. Exactly.
Yeah. To me,
Very
rose
good.
is such a beautiful scent, but yeah, it's not for me, it's not,
Sexy.
yeah, it reminds me of other things.
Fair. That's what vanilla is like for me. It
Yeah.
reminds me of very PG, like non-sexy
Yeah.
things. but
It's so
it's
funny.
delicious.
Fun fact is the first time I ever had sex, I had it with a vanilla scented flavored condom.
Love that.
So I think the scent is like anchored into my sexual
That's
psyche.
fair. Was that a good sexual experience?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Like the first my
Oh,
first time having sex was positive. It was with someone I loved and it was fun and
amazing.
it was a little bit uncomfortable, but it was a generally positive experience. I didn't like come or anything. I didn't know how to do that, but
Yeah.
I was excited about it and yeah, it was good.
Mm.
But yeah, I just remember the yellow vanilla condom.
Did you taste it?
I'm sure I did. I just remember the scent more than anything.
Fair.
Mhm. So I think
Fun.
it's
Fun
okay.
fact. Love
Mhm.
that. Final one. Topics or tools we're excited to explore in the future.
Okay, yeah.
Oh
So,
God.
Steph, what is topics or tools or something that you're excited to explore in the future going into next year?
Where do I begin? Truthfully, there's so much I am looking forward to exploring. And I'm also really acutely aware of the fact I don't know what I don't know. And there's a lot more that I want to explore that I probably don't even have the awareness of right now. So, first of all, I say I have complete openness and curiosity, and I'm ready for expansion in whatever way that looks. So, I think that's probably my intention when it comes to intimacy and sex is expansion, and I'm open to what that journey looks like. Definitely wanting to explore more of the world of kink and BDSM with a partner in a really safe and supportive way. Tools I would love to try. I would love to try a sex swing, never done that. I would love to experience a St. Andrew's cross, being on that. Those are the two that are coming to mind of like things I would really love to explore. And also deepening in Tantra and more of those deep intimacy, connective style practices. So, two different worlds and two different approaches. But yeah, anything and everything really. My intention or my desire is to find a partner that I can explore that with and we can have fun and explore that together and see where that journey takes us.
Yeah, I love that expansion point. I think that that's what feels really important to me too is expanding and being illuminated to things that I don't know yet that will bring me pleasure and getting curious and just trying things. I think that for so much of my life, I've had sex one type of way. And now I'm like, I just want to meet different people and be in different environments and try different things and be expanded in what my pleasure potential is, but also the world of sex, really.
Yeah.
I know for sure I would love to do some shibari. I know
Mm.
that is something that a topic that I would love to explore. I know for sure that I would love to work on my multi-orgasmic state, so really deepening into pleasure sessions that are elongated and fuller and where there's more orgasm potential. I've struggled with orgasm a lot in my life, and one orgasm feels like a major celebration. So now expanding beyond that would be really fun and playful and really cool to experience. And the other thing that's on my mind and a curiosity for the future is altered states of consciousness sex. So I would love to ceremonially do some type of drug to go into an altered state to have sex from to see what it would look like to let go from that place because I am always sober. So yeah, it would be really cool to have a bit more of a container for that, but room to play. So that's where I'm at.
Love that.
Mhm.
I'm going to add that one to my list as well. And to tack onto that, alien sex. We know I really desire alien sex. I can't wait for the episode about alien sex where I can come on here and share that has been experienced.
I'm so excited for you.
Coming. It's coming.
Touching your tentacles.
Manifesting it, the universe is getting ready to deliver me the man to have alien sex with.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it's been a fun and flirty and sexy and expansive year so far. And I'm so excited to see what happens next year for us too and what stories
Ooh.
and tips and topics we could bring to the podcast, but also in our own conversations. And I hope that this conversation was fun and playful to listen to for you and got your wheels turning about the highlights of your year and what's left for you to discover and uncover about your own sex and intimacy life.
Mm. Let us know, as always. We love you. Happy pleasuring yourself and others, if that is what is your life is about right now.
Love that. Yes, happy pleasuring yourself and others. We'll see you in the next episode.
We
Goodbye.
love ya. Goodbye.